Let's talk about today probably one of my favorite categories, which is eyeshadows. So this can be eyeshadow palette, it can be stick eyeshadows, liquid eyeshadows, everything under the roof. So let's start with palettes. The palette that I have on my eyes that I've been really enjoying, especially for creating anytime I want a neutral, slightly more cool tone looks, has been Viseart Sereneuse palette. This is what it looks like. Absolutely stunning. Apart from this shade, the palette is pretty much more neutral to cool tone, if that makes sense. So beautiful palette. You can create very wearable looks with this. I've obviously gone for a little more smokiness and drama today. Also used some of the darker tones in this palette, but you can create really lovely looks with this palette. This palette also has stunning duochromes, so this palette is definitely a pick this year. Next is a palette that I've wanted ever since its launch, just because of the colors, the packaging, everything is 100 out of 10 if I can possibly give it. It's the Danessa Myricks Lightwork 6 palette. I've obviously taken out the bigger packaging, but just look at these colors. Ooh, I just dipped my nail into one of them. But do I need to say more? Just quickly going to swatch maybe one or two shades from each palette as well. Why not? So from this palette, I think I want to definitely swatch one of the duochromes and maybe this chocolatey one, which is more of a satin finish, I want to say, or a shimmer, soft shimmer. And Viseart mattes are obviously amazing. So let's swatch these two. So there you go. It has this beautiful blue to purple shift you can see there. Then we have this satin shimmer shade. So lovely to deepen up the outer corner or also all over the eyelid. Then let's swatch a few shades from this palette on steroids, which is from Danessa Myricks. So maybe from this section, let's maybe swatch the green one, I guess. With these, you just literally need to do the lightest touch. This is what that looks like. Absolutely gorgeous. Maybe from this middle palette, let's swatch maybe this pink. It's like a beautiful duochrome. So let's swatch that right next to it. Absolutely gorgeous. Shifts to a beautiful gold. And then from the blue palette, I think my favorite is this one, which is insane in terms of the pigmentation. Swatch them right here. Just look at that. That was one little dip into the palette. So stay tuned. I'm definitely going to create eye looks with the Lightwork 6 palette. Let's talk about stick eyeshadows next. There's quite a few different brands that I really love. This one by Charlotte Tilbury is a repeat purchase. This is the Color Chameleon in Amber Haze, which looks absolutely beautiful. It's a gold, but with bronze mixed in, so it looks absolutely gorgeous. I will just swatch that here. Absolutely lovely. So this is like a one and done kind of an eyeshadow. Just apply it on the lid and blend it into your socket and you are good to go. Absolutely love this. It's been a staple for many years. Next, I've really enjoyed the Bobbi Brown eyeshadow sticks. Some of my favorite colors are Bark, which is like a beautiful dark brown, and Cinnamon, which is a warmer tone brown. So that's Bark, quite a bit deep. Cinnamon, just very warm toned. Beauty Pie also makes amazing eyeshadow sticks. So this matte one is a gray and it's called Fauna. Again, these mostly live in my kit. This tone especially looks great on light skin tones. And then they also make amazing shimmers. So let's have a look at this blue. It's called Wavy Navy. This one right here on the top. And then there's also a copper called Marmalade. It's just very convenient and easy to apply and blend. Last but not the least, this is something I recently purchased. I've always been looking for a good black cream eyeshadow, and I think this one ticks all the boxes. This is by Weave, I believe that's how you pronounce the brand. Not sure, but finally a black cream eyeshadow that I absolutely love. Next to the other one, so that's the black one. So imagine this as a base for your smoky eye, or if you want to use a multi-chrome, absolutely stunning. Last but not the least, some honorary mentions of individual shades. One is the Victoria Beckham Lid Luster. This is in the shade Mink, one of my absolute favorite shades. This is what it looks like. It's like taupey brown, I want to say. Kind of close to the shade that I have on my lid as well, slightly deeper, if that makes sense. So again, one of those one and done shades, absolutely beautiful. So when you blend it out, you get that brown, but on the mobile lid, you'll get this kind of a beautiful reflective silver taupey shade. Another single eyeshadow that's beautiful, but a matte, is Merit. This is their solo eyeshadow. This shade is Brun. This is what that looks like. I'll quickly swatch that. It's very similar to Bark by Bobbi Brown, just a fraction warmer and lighter, if that makes sense. It's not as deep as Bark. So there you go. Again, makes a beautiful base for a smoky eye, or to layer other geochromatic high shimmer eyeshadows on top. Last but not the least, the Bodyography glitter pigments. I have quite a few, but I'm going to show you maybe a couple. This shade is called Stratus, like a champagne-y, pinky, peachy champagne, I think. That's what that looks like. And then if I were to layer it on top of Brun, you can see the shift. Absolutely beautiful. Has that pink, peachy shift to it. And if I didn't put it over a base, that's it on its own. Now the shade I want to share is called Get Down. It's more of a plummy tone. This is what that looks like. Imagine this all over the eyelid. That's the shade. And let's swatch it first on its own, right here. And imagine that over the black base. There you go. You can see how much more intense and reflective it looks over a darker base. Next, let's talk about some liquid eyeshadows. Two brands that I've been absolutely loving. The first one is Lisa Eldridge. So she has her new matte formulas. These are the liquid silk liquid eyeshadows. Beautiful formula. And you also have their original liquid lyrics, which is absolutely stunning. This one is called Titania. Beautiful old gold shade. This is Angelica, one of my favorites, which is like a pinky brown kind of a tone. Very neutral. Very neutral for a pink. I'm just going to quickly swatch these on my hand. The matte shade is called Gaia. It's a lovely yellow toned brown. That is what that looks like. And if I were to shear it out on the top right here, that's what it looks like. Moving on to maybe Titania. So that's what that swatch is like. And if I were to shear it out, you can see that with these, the more you shear out, the more the sparkles show up, which looks absolutely stunning on the eyelids. So a light wash of that looks gorgeous on the eyelids. There's lots of colors to choose from, so I'm sure you'll find something that you love. I pretty much carry all shades, barring a few, but they live mostly in my freelance kit. A brand that I discovered this year for liquid eyeshadows, and with these I do not need any eye primers. They last on their own really well, is Gen Z. These are their liquid eyeshadows, I believe. You get mattes and also shimmers. So this is the shade Plush, which is a matte. This pinky gold is called Hollywood, which is a shimmer. Then the latest two shades are these two. This is Money Penny, which is like a bronzy gold. And then this one's like a lilac-y purple. This is called Purple Rain. So I'm just going to quickly swatch maybe the purple one and the, oops, not that one, the matte one right now. So that is Plush on its own. It's like a cool toned, almost purple brown. There you go, shade out. Actually can make a really lovely contour shade for fair skin tones. And then Purple Rain. These two will make a lovely eye look as well. So if I were to shear it out on the top here, there you go. So that's Purple Rain right there. These stay put all day on the eyelids. And as I mentioned before, I do not need an eye primer with these. So these are definitely oily eyelids approved, the Gen Z ones. With the Lisa Eldridge ones, I do need to prime my eyelids before. And in case you're curious, I tend to use my NARS eye primer with that. So those are definitely some of my favorite eyeshadow products. If you have any favorites that I've missed, please leave it in the comment section below, and come back tomorrow to see the final part, which is me sharing my favorite face powders.